Hey everybody. So I'm on my way home from work and it is Tuesday the 27th. Very rainy day. Very rainy, gloomy day in northern Michigan. And I'm working in a satellite location away from my home base. So I have to take a different way home, which is fine. It's a different office. We have 11 offices. We're one of the largest family practices in northern Michigan, and as far as I know, we may be the largest, but I work in the main hub normally, and occasionally we have to work in other outer offices to help out when other people go on vacation or whatever. So anyway, it's after work, and I thought about doing a video yesterday on my way home from work, or even after work, but I was so exhausted. Mondays are just the worst. It's like after the weekend, everybody either needs a refill, or they need a visit with the doctor, or, you know, everything is pressing, immediate. Today was not as exhausting as yesterday was, but, so I just wasn't up to doing anything yesterday. But what I wanted to talk about briefly, or, you know, try to keep this relatively short. I've been thinking a lot about, I have helped a few of my loved ones start this ketogenic way of eating, and one of the things that I realized that people don't really think about is, first of all, you should do your research and learn as much about it as you can. Don't just see my success, or say my sister's success, or whoever's, and say, yeah, I want to do this, without really looking into what it is that it involves. Because at first, it isn't easy. I mean, it's not, it isn't natural. I mean, it's not how we were raised to eat. It's not how we are told. It's still not how the standard medical community tells people how to eat. And matter of fact, it's almost the opposite of what most doctors will tell you to do. And so you're at a disadvantage, because you have to relearn and unlearn a lot when you start this way of eating, this way of life. And your body has a lot to learn. It has to shift from being a carb burner to being a fat burner. And it's not easy. And it's not easy on your body. You know, I forget it's been over 8 months I've been doing this. So, you know, to me, the beginning stages are a distant memory. I don't think about it much. And quite honestly, I was feeling so crummy when I started this. I was in so much pain. Well, the pain had diminished, I will say. The pain had diminished quite a bit because of the glucosamine chondroitin that I had been taking. But still, there was still, you know, fatigue and just general all-around crummy, tired all the time, and not sleeping worth a hoot, and no energy, no, you know, nothing. I felt so bad that when I started this, any keto flu, or it was just more the same. So really, you know, I remember learning a lot and realizing as I went that, oh, hey, you know, I'm doing this wrong, or, you know, I can get better results if I change this, or, you know, you're eating something and you think it's low carb, and then you realize it's not. And it's a learning curve, you know, and nobody starts it out perfect, and your body definitely doesn't adjust instantly or easily. You know, there's quite often some kind of side effect or symptom of your body either detoxing from the carbs, or going through withdrawals from the sugar, lack of sugar. And so unfortunately, it's not easy. For me, I knew, because I had done the Atkins and I had done the low carb enough times prior to doing the ketogenic way, I knew that I needed a good solid 3 days of not not eating carbs, of keeping my carbs below 20 grams, net grams, before I would start feeling better and coming through the other side. But I knew that that first 3 days at the minimum wasn't going to be easy. First of all, your cravings and your instinct. You're hungry, you reach for whatever you normally reach for that is sugary or carby, or, you know, or the minute you decide you don't want to have carbs, that's when you get a craving for, you know, toast and jelly or something, you know, crazy like that, you know. And so when you decide, hey, look at the old cars. See if you can see them in the rearview mirror. Cool. But the reality is it's not easy at first. And then as it goes and as you learn, it gets easier. And once you start seeing the results and feeling the results, not just seeing them, but feeling the results, and this way of life is more than just the weight loss. It really is. It's more than just losing the excess weight. Everybody tries to explain. I mean, you think better, you feel better, you have more energy, you sleep better. Your appetite is gone for the most part. Yeah, if you're a girl and you go through the hormonal stuff, you may still fight with cravings and stuff at that time of the month. It's just the way it is. It's gonna happen. But for the most part, it's tons better. And it's a day maybe, or 2 days, or whatever, you know, if you get a handle on it, you know, and you still have to have a little bit of self-restraint around that time of the month, but the rest of the time, it's not that bad. And your appetite, you're not hungry until you're honestly hungry, and your mental clarity, it's so much easier to make good choices because you feel better. You just feel better. So it does get easier when you start having the results. But that first initial, you know, week, 2 weeks, some people it takes longer than that, and that's unfortunate, you know. And they'll tell you can take up. And I'm not talking about being keto adapted or fat adapted. I'm just talking getting into this way of eating and your body getting a little more used to not eating carbs, because the whole getting fat adapted or keto adapted or whatever terminology you want to use, that does take a little, that can take a month or two. I mean, for your body to really truly settle into this way of eating. And, you know, so the benefits are awesome, but I'm not gonna lie, when you first start this way, especially if you go into it with the mindset that, oh, I love carbs and I don't know how I'm going to be able to give up carbs, and you know, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot right there. If you're already like not willing to change the way you think about food and that kind of thing, then you're already starting at a detriment. So you have to do your research and really decide if it's something that you can commit to, because it's not something you can do halfway. If you're in ketosis, you're in ketosis, or you're not in ketosis. So if you're doing the ketogenic way of eating, that's what you're shooting for, is being in ketosis. Now, if you want to do the low carb, do the low carb. If it works for you, by all means. I would say if you do the low carb, still watch your proteins, you know. Keep your fats up a little bit. Even if you're, I mean, don't go crazy. It's still calories in, calories out, especially if you're not shooting for ketosis, you're just watching your carbs. Because low carb can be anything from 50 to 100 grams, you know, roughly. I mean, you'll get people will tell you different amounts all the time. But to me, if it's less than 100 grams, you're definitely doing low carb, because the average American diet is like 200 to 300 grams of carbs a day, based on like a calorie of 2,000 calories a day. So, you know, and that's a minimum really of what people eat on average as far as carbs that they consume, and then they don't even think about it. Once you start watching your carbs and you start paying attention, and that was me early on when I first started this. I was looking at the labels of everything. Like, you know, when I first started this, and I'm like, well, they have cookies in the drawer. I wonder how many carbs are in a serving of cookies, and how many cookies is a serving? You know, is it 5 cookies? Is it 2 cookies? Is there 25 carbs? Is there 50 carbs? Somebody wants to blow in front of me. You know, and I really, when you start doing that, you just start, don't look at it like you're going to eat it. Just look at it like, and that's what I did. I'd pull out the cookies and I'd be like, yeah, I wonder how many carbs are in this, you know, a serving of cookies, and be like, well, there's 50 carbs in this serving of cookies. Well, that's 2 days worth of my carbs. Because when I first started, I stuck around 25. 20, you know, less than 25 was my goal, and it's worked for me. I've lost over 60 pounds, and I'm still losing weight. So, as a matter of fact, I just changed my FitnessPal from, I had it set at 5% carbs, 75% fat, and 20% protein. That was my macros for my food. And I just switched it to 10% carbs and 70% fat and 20% protein. I think the 20% protein is pretty solid for me. I'm okay now. I've figured out how to eat so that sometimes I don't hit it, sometimes I do. I don't think it's really crucial. I haven't had any bad effects from not making my 20% if I don't hit it. But the difference is I definitely try to keep my protein and my carbs at a 30% ratio to the fats. Because if too much protein will still turn into sugar. It'll still turn into, you know, your body will switch out of, if you eat too much protein, you'll switch out of burning or using ketones. So anyway, but I did want to say, if you're thinking about doing this way of life, please do the research. Please take the time to read it. I mean, yes, watch those of us who do YouTube videos on the ketogenic way and our experiences, and absolutely follow us and check us out and listen to what we have to say and our experiences. That'll give you a good idea, but still do the research. Take the time to read like ruled.me, www.ruled.me. That has a ton of resources, and there's just tons of resources online. If you just Google ketogenic diet or ketogenic way of eating, it's out there. I mean, it's easy access. You can read about it and learn about it and really get a good idea. You know, look up ketogenic foods. Just Google those words, ketogenic foods, or a ketogenic grocery list, or, you know, that kind of thing. Get an idea if you can handle eating the types of foods that are expected to be eaten on this way of life. So that's what I wanted to stress. This is not, in the beginning, this is not an easy way to go if you are a carbivore. If you eat carbs and you love carbs, this is not an easy choice. It gets easier, and you can keto-fy just about anything that you love, but you have to be willing to tweak the recipe. You have to be willing to open up your mind to different tastes, and your taste buds will change when you get away from the sweets and you get away from the carbs and you get away from the processed foods. You will actually start craving like the healthier foods, and they'll taste better to you. I am just thrilled with, like, I bought pickled mushrooms. Now, you gotta like pickles and you gotta like mushrooms if you're like me. But, you know, and that was low carb and completely satisfying to just snack on. I mean, you know, I didn't need potato chips and I didn't need cookies. You know, that totally did it for me. Or, you know, enjoying the flavor and the crunch of a nice tender zucchini sliced up and salted. Oh my gosh. I mean, raw. It has just a wonderful flavor to me. And I don't need any of the processed stuff. Now, that's not to say that I don't still, once in a while, especially during hormonal things, get cravings for the junk. You know, I grew up with it. I've got almost 50 years of eating that way. And the reality is, most of the time when I eat that stuff, I realize it didn't taste as good as I thought it would. And it didn't taste as good as I remembered it tasting. So, you know, and then that helps you kind of learn, and you're like, yeah, that's not really worth it. Or I can make a keto version that I don't have to feel bad about. And that, you know, and that is totally the way to go. And it's super easy. You stick the word keto in front of any recipe idea that you have, and you can usually find something, you know, some kind of a modified. And I actually kind of like the challenge of looking for, you know, recipes. And I'll be honest, I don't like intricate, involved, multi-stepped recipes. I like to keep everything very simple and straightforward. And so, you know, so I'll do easy keto. Those are the two words I put in front of whatever food I'm looking for. And then I start scanning recipes and getting ideas, and quite often I end up combining, you know, 2 or 3 recipes to come up with something that will work. And, you know, and I know enough about what I like and how I like things to taste that, you know, I can create something that's keto and will make me happy, you know. So, but could I do that when I first started this way? No, absolutely not. It's a learning curve. This is, you know, 8+ months into this of figuring it out. So be patient with yourself. If you decide to go this way and you want to try this way of life, be patient. Expect it to be difficult at first. Just rise to the challenge that, okay, you know, I'm not going to feel good, but my body is adjusting, and I'm adjusting, and I'm learning. And be kind to yourself. Listen to your body and be kind. Really, really. Just, it's worth it if it works for you, you know. But you have to give it an honest effort, an honest amount of time to see if it'll work, because you can't just do it for 3 days and hit that mark where you feel like crap and then say, oh, well, it doesn't work. No, you've got to give it a solid month of, you know, learning the way of it and being patient. And so, bottom line, no, it's not easy at first, but it does get easier, and it's totally worth it. So, if you like this video or you think it's helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and please share. And also, if you have not subscribed, please click the little subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. So, by all means, keto on!